Yeah, I mean, it was amazing how much time was spent on tax, all the claims made about that tax and spending. Let's break that down. This is the tax burden going all the way back to just after the Second World War. You can see, here we go. It has been getting higher and higher and higher. But what we can do is overlay each party's plans on top of that. And you can see, well, this is the current plans under the current government. Conservatives, slightly less than current plans, but it is still going up. So Rishi Sunak saying Keir Starmer taxes are going to go up. The tax burden is going to go up. But if you compare that to Lib Dems, and then if you compare that to Labour here, it is less than that. But the thing that wasn't really addressed is where people are going to make these cuts. We've heard a lot about this conspiracy of silence. This is from the Institute of Fiscal Studies about where spending is going to come from. So basically, all the parties have agreed that there is going to be a 1% increase in overall day-to-day public spending in real terms. Now, that is going to be across the board, but actually some are protected areas. So around 3% is protected. That's things like NHS, that's defence, where spending is actually going to go up under both plans, and other elements, Foreign Office there as well. But look at this. This is the unprotected area. So if that's going up, this has to go down. And these unprotected areas carry things like law courts as well. They also carry local councils. We had both leaders talking about councils going bust under the opposite party's leadership. That includes local government. We have seen huge cuts to local government over the last 14 years. So where that comes in all of this is left really to be decided. Another thing that was mentioned here is about the green spending. This is from Labour's manifesto. They said that there were hundreds of billions of pounds, talking about a Telegraph story today. This is actually what's in the Labour manifesto. It's not nearly as much as that. There is an extra £1.1 billion. That can be made up through borrowing. But Labour's plans include private finance. This is what they actually want to spend over the next Parliament. So all that talk about tax, it did feel like there was a slight plan there. And I think it was a plan, because if you look at this, this was actually what was happening. If you learn on Twitter today, you saw this site, Tax Check UK. This is actually the Conservative headquarter press office. They changed their font, they changed all their branding to make it look like they're doing tax check. So this suggests it was a really deliberate strategy to really focus on tax. And that's interesting, because what do people actually think about tax? Well, when it comes to the issues that matter to voters, you've got economy, you've got health, got immigration and asylum, tax comes all the way down there. So it's not really maybe for the general public. They're looking at a specific segment of voters. Now, one of those issues that does resonate with the public is small boats. We heard about that. Various claims and counterclaims. Let's just lay it out. This is where we are this year, and it does look like it's on course to be a record year. The boats did come down. 2023 was less than 2022, but where we are now, that is going up. The other thing, though, of course, is that small boats, it's a very, very tiny part of this. One of the questions from the audience was, how are we going to close our borders? Small boats is just that vanishingly small part. It's not even all of that other asylum. This is total immigration. That's what really was another conspiracy of silence. It wasn't properly addressed, really, by either party. And, you put that in context over what we've seen historically, all the way back to 1855. This is sort of the where we're going. More people entering and leaving. This big spike at the end. Neither parties really talked about that, because there are difficult decisions to be made. Now, the thing they did talk about, just to finish with, was a betting scandal. Just to remind you, here we are, get out of the way there. These are bets made around the course of the general election. That's what we've been talking about. There was a lot of talk from both of them about that, and I think this will show you why, actually. So thinking back over the past few days, which news story did you hear about the most? This is a YouGov poll. You can see what's happened. Election betting scandal has really cut through. It's got more attention than the sad death of Michael Mosley back then. It's more attention than the general election, more than Euro 2024. This is a really, really big story. It's why both leaders gave it so much time. It's why it might be a more important story, because it hasn't finished, a more important story than the debate tonight.